Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Commander, 2nd Medical Group, welcome to Barksdale Air Force Base and the 2nd Dental Squadron Reactivation and Assumption of Command Ceremony. I am Technical Sergeant Amanda Gilbert, and I will be your narrator for today's ceremony. First, some comments on military protocol and ceremony etiquette. During the ceremony, you will be given cues on when to stand and be seated at the appropriate times. Today's ceremony is considered an indoor event. During the playing of the national anthem, military personnel should stand at the position of attention and not render a salute. We invite our civilian guests to join us by standing and placing your right hand over your heart. Additionally, all military personnel should stand at the position of attention during the unfurling of the squadron guidon and the assumption of command ceremony. The COVID-19 situation presents us with unique challenges. However, our goal today is to continue the change of command tradition while recognizing the constraints of the world we now operate in. Finally, we request all electronic devices be turned off or set to vibrate for the duration of today's ceremony. Thank you. The reactivation ceremony is a military tradition similar to the change of command. It is deeply rooted in military history dating back to the time of Frederick the Great. It is a visible means of handing the reins of command from one commander to the next. In the Prussian period, military organizations created flags with specific colors and symbols unique to their organization when the soldiers followed their leaders into battle. If the banner still waved after the conflict, it was a sign that their side had not tasted defeat. Because of its position of importance, the flag was incorporated into the ritual of command ceremony. The organization banner was exchanged in public for all to acknowledge that the holder of the flag was the unchallenged and sovereign leader. The modern-day ceremony is principally symbolic, yet it still announces to all the authority of command. The cased guidon is unfurled, and the appointed commander faces the reviewing officer, salutes, and states, "Sir, I assume command." The guidon exchange represents the transfer of responsibility for the resources, personnel, and mission of the dental squadron. The presiding officer for today's ceremony is Colonel Erich Schroeder, Commander, 2nd Medical Group, and he is joined by his spouse, Ellen Gray Schroeder. We are honored to have many special guests in attendance. While we cannot recognize all of our distinguished visitors, we would be remiss if we did not recognize the following: Commander, 2nd Bomb Wing, Colonel Mark Dimitrushin. And Command Chief, 2nd Bomb Wing, Chief Master Sergeant Brent Chaddock. Finally, we welcome all group and squadron commanders, directors, chiefs, civic leaders, spouses, friends, Team Barksdale, and our Shreveport and Bossier City community partners. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The Commander, 2nd Medical Group, Colonel Erich Schroeder, will now make his remarks.
Specifically, I'd like to thank our Bomb Wing Commander, Colonel Dimitrushin. We've got the Maintenance Group Commander, Colonel Kovard, and his wingman, Chief Larson, MSG with Colonel Whitecotton and Chief Prince. And I'm tracking Lieutenant Colonel McMenamins here for the OG. Thank you guys so much for coming. Ma'am, Colonel Dolahite, Colonel McKinney, and Chief Suafoa, thank you so much for coming, representing the SG team from Global Strike. To Jennifer and Eli, thank you so much, one, for being here, but more importantly, right, for supporting Chris in his career and being invaluable teammates for him and supporting the home front. You couldn't have done it without you. I'd also, along the lines of, this is a squadron activation ceremony, right? So I'd like to thank the dental squadron activation team, which consisted of some non-dental squadron folks like Major Smart, but also Master Sergeant Norris, Sergeant Peoples. And then I'd like to thank the dental squadron themselves, dental flight, dental squadron, because it's been a bit tumultuous with having to be a squadron and then a flight and then back to a squadron. There's some churn with that. So my sincere appreciation. Speaking of team, I'd also like to share that we have a teammate, Dental Squadron teammate, who's in the hospital right now. So our thoughts and prayers go out with her and her family as they deal with that significant challenge. Before I talk about Colonel Paris, I'd like to share a little bit about what the Dental Squadron brings to the table to put warheads on foreheads and to go kick doors down and break things. This Dental Squadron here provides general dentistry, okay, no big surprise with that, but also orthodontic services, oral surgery, endodontics, periodontics, prosthodontics, and dental radiology, as well as a advanced, I want to make sure I get it right, advanced education general dentistry residency. So they bring a lot to the table, and it is crucial, they are a crucial part of our mission here, not only with getting our airmen medically ready, but also training the future with our general residents who are also directly serving and making sure our airmen are taken care of. So what does that mean as far as production? So recently, they have, within the past year, they have seen 22,000 patients, performed 5.5 thousand exams, and completed almost 50,000 procedures, resulting in a 77.4% dental health rate, with 65% being the standard. So that's a direct correlation to our IMR, individual medical readiness, which is a direct correlation to getting jets in the air and everything that comes is involved with getting B-52s in the air here at this base. But also they're serving Global Strike, 8th Air Force, and a number of tenant units, as well as the reserve unit that's our partners here, and then other agencies as well. So the impact can't be overstated, and dental is one of those things that you really don't appreciate until you got a toothache, right? Just fundamentally, if you think about it, it is something that we really don't think of as a tip of the spear until you have something going on, whether it be a toothache, a cavity, or you need some sort of advanced oral surgery. So welcome back, Dental Squadron. It's I don't know why they even got rid of it, right? So let me tell you a little bit about Colonel Paris. He is a subject matter expert, an educator, and a leader. He's been committed to continual professional development as a dentist and then an orthodontist, with constant leadership progression and a steadfast devotion to the mission as a teammate. So he invested his time to be an orthodontist. So right, there's enough time and effort to go into being a dentist, and then he decided he wanted to be an orthodontist, to not just fix dental problems in an advanced way, but also to affect patients' psychosocial well-being and significantly change the lives of his patients in a meaningful and lasting way. So in particular, from our conversations, he relishes the opportunity to perform orthodontic jaw surgery. Let me back up. Jaw surgery cases. I'm trying to get out that fancy word, didn't work out. Perform those procedures with the patient not having to worry about high cost or access. So that's one reason he's in the military. So he truly cares about his patients and their ability to be able to live meaningful lives. So speaking of having a lasting and meaningful impact, his motivation to be a squadron commander has similar roots. As he told me, Colonel Paris sees serving as a commander as an opportunity to give back and leave it better than he found it. So he leads a life of consistency. He wants to serve, he wants to improve his fellow man, and he wants to continue to give back to those people and those folks that have given to him. He brings a breadth of experience to us as well, having served in Germany, Korea, and Japan. And he has a broad mission perspective. So speaking of mission, he's not just a full-up orthodontist and leader in the dental community. He has sucked rubber, so to speak, and thrived on MREs, living in a basement at Osan, and living that sort of readiness postured life on the peninsula. So he knows what it means to be ready. He knows what it means to serve. He knows what it means to be a teammate. And then to wrap up, he has a depth of experience serving in numerous leadership positions. So he's been a practicing dentist, a practicing orthodontist, and if you look at this bio, at the same time, essentially, shortly after becoming a practicing dentist, he's assumed leadership positions as flight commander, and then just progressed along that leadership route, which is not easy to continue to be a technician, but then also progress as a leader. So, Chris, welcome. You're number one for this job, and it is an honor to be here to be able to get this going. So thank you so much. We can press with the ceremony. Publish the order.
Attention to orders. Department of the Air Force Headquarters, 2nd Medical Group, Barksdale Air Force Base, Louisiana. Special order number G-7089, reactivating the 2nd Dental Squadron, effective 28 October 2020, is hereby executed. By Air Force Instruction 51-604 and Special Order Number G-035, Colonel Christopher K. Paris assumes command of the 2nd Dental Squadron, effective 28 October 2020.
Sir, I assume command. Thank you. Colonel McKinney, thank you for coming. Thanks to Colonel Schroeder, especially for giving me this opportunity. You didn't know me hardly at all when they asked you about hiring me into this position, so big thank you, and I'm happy to be staying part of this, my group. Thanks to Chaplain Johnson for your words this morning. I always love your puns. Those are always great. Thank you to Miss Jones and her protocol team for putting everything together. We just did this about 10 days ago, and she is definitely a pro, and her teams are a team of pros. Thanks to Captain Ledesma and Staff Sergeant McDonald for coordinating the whole ceremony, and thanks to Tech Sergeant Gilbert for narrating. I did not want to forget anyone. Also, thank you, Ms. Schroeder, for attending, and Jen, Eli. I know you guys were just here 10 days ago, and you're missing some school again, so I'm sorry for that. But thanks for coming. All right, so on to my remarks. So we're back. I know we're all excited to regain our identity as a squadron, but I want to give a huge thanks to Colonel Shaw. She wasn't able to be at my promotion ceremony, so I want to take this opportunity to give her a special thanks for her leadership during our collective vacation through the OMRS squadron. I'm not sure when she found out that her squadron was going to be almost doubled, or what she may have thought about that. And I honestly didn't have any idea what to expect from being part of an OMRS. But it really did turn out to be a great experience. I think we've all enjoyed feeling a little bit more integrated with the Med Group and getting to know people from different sections that we typically don't interact with since we're geographically separated. I hope we can keep up that feeling of unity. Lieutenant Colonel Shaw is a fantastic commander and role model for a leader of any level. Thank you for providing me my training wheels. I'm sure that if I stick around long enough, I'll be working for you someday. So, I want to keep this short, but I do want to touch on a few things. First, I want to recognize the 2nd Dental Squadron, I can say that officially now, for the phenomenal work they've put in this year. Obviously 2020, you know, like you said at the very beginning of the ceremony. New commanders don't usually have the opportunity to know what they're walking into, but in this case, I feel very lucky that I know what I'm getting from the get-go. For some background, earlier this spring when the non-emergent dental care was shut down for a time due to the emerging COVID, the dental readiness of the space was poised to take a hit. While dental readiness was not the first thing that most people might think of, like Colonel Schroeder alluded to, you don't think about it until you need us. Let me tell you just a few facts about the dental mission and readiness. So, fact 1, 50% of all military recruits enter the service dentally non-deployable, and 96% require at least some dental care on entering. Fact 2, in a deployed setting, dental emergencies are measured to be 5 times higher in dentally unprepared units when compared to dentally ready units. Further, should a dental emergency arise, air vac mission costs between $11,000 and $15,000 per flight hour. So if you wonder why we take out everyone's wisdom teeth, that's why. To highlight our oral surgeons again, a retrospective study found that between 2001 and 2007, there were 7,770 battlefield injuries, and 26% of those had a maxillofacial injury component. So our oral surgery skills are definitely utilized. Last fact, fact number 4, there was a study done of flight crews from around the world on the prevalence of parodontalgia, which is a fancy word for saying distracting tooth pain due to changes in air pressure. Obviously, air crews can experience that if they have dental issues. And I'll just give you a couple. Spanish air crews suffered at a rate of 11%. Israeli air crews suffered at a rate of 8%. Saudi Arabian flight crews suffered at a rate of 50%. U.S. Air Force crews suffered at a rate of 0.25%. So that's what we do for the mission. So back to my story. When we were finally able to get back to work with appropriate PPE, these ladies and gentlemen over here, active duty, civilian, contractor, all of you, went to work in an unconventional schedule to get caught back up. Ultimately, they did more than 1,500 dental exams in a little over a month while maintaining dental readiness of about 98%. It truly was an all-hands effort. I was very proud that everyone was able to pull together and put the mission first in the middle of a pandemic. So, I think a positive mindset is important in facing challenges such as this, and I practice gratitude every day to be thankful for the good things in life, including the people I work with. I'm grateful that I work in a safe place with great people and for an Air Force that emphasizes the importance of core values, recognizes performance regardless of individual differences. I'm extremely thankful that I, my colleagues, and my staff not only can, but are encouraged to practice dentistry to the highest ethical and technical standards. I'm proud of the small but certainly not insignificant role we play in the larger Air Force mission. Finally, building on that, I want to take this opportunity to ask you all to think about the importance of maintaining perspective in your life. Several events in 2020, but certainly one recent event in particular has, for me, shined a spotlight on what is really important in life. I hope that you can all continue to maintain perspective, be hopeful for the future, despite what may be going on in the moment. Seeing the negative is always the easier path, but I challenge you to focus on what is going right, stay positive, and then think about how you can make things better. In conclusion, I'd like to promise the 2nd Dental Squadron that I'll always work towards maintaining our culture of mutual respect and excellence, and I'll work to build an environment where we can enjoy our service while still knocking the mission out of the park. So, you ready? Who's going to fix that jacked up grill?
We will! We will!
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending today's reactivation and assumption of command ceremonies. This concludes the formal portion of today's ceremony. We regret that we will not host a reception, but please step forward at the conclusion of the ceremony while observing social distancing to congratulate Colonel Harris and his family. Please stand for the playing of the Air Force song, the departure of the official party, family, and distinguished guests. Again, thank you for attending and have a great day.